Hello and welcome back to City Skylines, where I'm actually going to do a little bit of playing around instead of just goofing off in the editor for once. Just a quick note on audio quality. Because of the way my wonderful microphone that I use for most of my recording picks up ambient sound, it's not really a very good Let's Play recorder. So I am back to my crappy headset. So I've got a very nice blue Yeti sitting on my desk staring at me accusingly, but unfortunately it's not going to get to play along here. So as I said, as a result, my audio is going to sound not quite as nice, but this is where we be. I'm going to go ahead and load up my map. Went ahead and started a new map after making several adjustments to it. It's finally in a state where I am confident enough in playing it. Just going to load it up and play. Big challenge for me on this playthrough, and we'll see how well I accomplish this, if at all, is going to be pacing myself. I tend to just kind of tear through this game, and really need to slow down, so this is actually going to be worth watching. Very first thing I'm going to do is put this on pause, and like an idiot, I designed this diamond interchange, thinking I was being real smart, but I really need to, actually, I might be able to save this now that I think about it. I'm going to go ahead and put a road here. That is one of the more bizarre things about this game. Okay. Is that you have to place a two-lane road in order to actually get anything else unlocked. I don't quite understand the rationale behind that. Oh, gonna switch to this. Nope, not gonna work. Okay. Gonna have to blow out my intersection here, and gonna have to make a crappy one using two-lane roads. Very first thing I'm gonna do is place my one-way. I don't know how I feel about the film grain effect on City Skylines. I'm usually not a fan of it. Going all the way back to Silent Hill 2 on the PlayStation 2, I rushed through that game specifically so I could unlock the ability to turn off film grain. Likewise, Mass Effect, always play with film grain turned off. This isn't too bad, but it actually looks kind of nice now that I think of it. Okay, well, enough getting distracted by the shiny stuff here. Gonna actually build up my intersection again. A little counterintuitive because at the very beginning you don't have even highway ramps unlocked. I have to wait till I'm population 2800, which I can guarantee you, even if I blaze through this as quickly as possible, I would not be getting to on today's episode. So we're going to go with a little curve road action. We're going to have to build these on-ramps using one-way roads. I'm going to turn off snap so I can get totally parallel to the highway. They're going to be at a slight angle to the road, but that's not going to be too much of a disaster. Pull this out, and I want to maximize how much room there is for the ramp there. Ooh, train. I don't often actually get to see them. They whiz by so quickly. Yeah, definitely a very European train setup. I'd actually like to see some old steam engines prowling around, but don't know how far along they are on the vehicle modding tools yet, so. Or maybe you can already do that and I'm just unaware. There we go. Nice little, and once again I'm going to get a little perfection-y there. This has practically no bearing on gameplay at all. I just tend to prefer having... Whoa! Yeah, that'd wreck just about anything in existence trying to come down that one. I just try to keep these looking somewhat plausible. That'll be good enough. Alright, so if you're coming off, you can get in the left lane and turn left. Well, I guess that's kind of functional. Change the speed limit from 100 kilometers an hour down to 40. So, and the 2-lane on-ramps are just absolutely pointless. That's actually, in real life, that's a pretty good way to start an accident. Now, this is eventually going to be all built up and skyscrapery, but we're going to start off with kind of a North American small town vibe. Going to grow this up from scratch. Turn snap back on so we can stay at least straight here. Alright, so they have the main drag there. Come in and start planning off some neighborhoods. I want to keep this open for commercial. I tend to follow pretty much all the small towns I've ever been to. The main road is lined on all sides with commercial, and you kind of have to fork off to get into the residential areas. So we're going to come out like that. And I am going to kind of somewhat follow a grid here, but there's going to be some variations, so it doesn't look entirely terrible. I'm going to do the problem with me is I know how cities develop, and so United States, most of the cities west of the Mississippi really got their heavy development after the development of the automobile. And so everything is built to accommodate the car. So everything is built to be easily navigable with grid systems and huge highway complexes. And so there's not really a lot of free-form design going on. Whereas if you look more at cities in Europe, which have hundreds and in many, many cases thousands of years of history, then those roadway networks have been developed for varying things. Like even in heavily built sections of London, some of those streets date back to horse and carriage days. So you find where roads were built more due to land contour requirements than anything else. So this is going to be an American city, so I'm going to try and follow a grid, but I'm going to make the grid about as interesting as you can instead of just block by block by block by block. So you'll kind of see what I mean, and I guess I'll give a quick taste of where I'm at with that. Okay, giant block, and if you'll notice, big empty spot that you can't zone in. So I just pretty much wasted a bunch of space, didn't I? Not necessarily. I'm going to come out like this and start building some curved through streets. I'm going to get access. Dang it. Yeah, the angle of where roads come together is very critical in this game. There we go. And going to start plopping down some houses here. Or allowing the construction of houses more accurately. Because so many large Midwest towns have, at least back in the day, had their water towers near the main drag. I'm going to go ahead and drop that there. And I'm going to set up the water outflow pipe. And this is a very shallow river. It seems to me like they actually model water quantity. I did some play testing on this map, and it really seemed to dirty up this river quite a bit very quickly. So I ended up having to take this and keep relocating it further downstream. Probably, like I said, I'm going to do 2 versions of this map before I publish, and this is really going to be my big play test of how well this thing functions from a gameplay perspective. So it'll be pretty well documented, actually. But anyway, I'm going to do 2 versions of this map, the more realistic one, which is going to be essentially this, and then a gameplay specific one. And for that one, I'm going to dredge the crap out of this river, make it much deeper, and I'm going to increase the water flow rate, and I'm going to do some things with elevation back here so that if you want to build a hydro dam, knock yourself out and kind of have an area for a reservoir back there that doesn't flood out the entire city. So with that out of the way, it's time to get some power turned on. I tend to try and stay with, dang it, non-polluting power sources. I really like the wind turbines in this game, and they're actually quite power efficient. But gonna go real Tulsa, Oklahoma, in reality has a coal plant along the river, so that's how we're gonna get our power. It will reduce the land take and also prevent me from having to constantly plop down new power plants, at least for a little while. And so, to kind of keep this a little rustic looking, we're going to have a dirt road that follows along the river contour. Maybe goes under the highway a bit. Now we're going to bring it into town. Oh, come on. There we go. And this is all going to get blown up and blown out as we go along, but I'm going to, like I said, going to try to make this look like a kind of rustic small town. I'm going to go ahead and plop this down. Get some power plants or power lines going on. And with the tap of page up, oh, a little premature there. To page up, take this over the highway, page back down, and just going to kind of, in case I want to do anything with zoning along here, I'm going to keep this on the periphery. Like I said, this is all going to come apart as the town expands. But most of the basic road layout is going to remain the same. And in real life, historically, the way Tulsa developed is it was a lot of small towns around this section. Or actually, it was more around here. There was a little town called Red Fork and some other places, and then it just kind of grew together. Unfortunately, I had to make the highway system here kind of central to the map, so it's not going to quite develop like that. It's going to be somewhat similar in this playthrough, but, you know. And I don't want to go for total historical accuracy, looking at road maps for days on end and planning out grids to be one-to-one perfectly accurate is, 1, horrifically boring, and 2, horrifically boring. It bears repeating. So, need to take the power a little further. I'm going to jump the highway, and hopefully that'll plug in. I'm going to go ahead and zone some commercial here. I'm going to use the marquee tool. This will be commercial, and then I'm going to infill with a little bit of, there we go. I'll go ahead and connect this. That should be good. Alright, actually should probably hit play and let this start going. Power connections are kind of weird in this game, although in its defense, they're weird in all city builders, except for in the most recent SimCity where everything's just carried along by roads. That's a weird concept, but not too... It simplified things a lot, and as many people have pointed out, there were a lot of people saying they were glad that the tedium of planning out pipes and power lines was removed, and then there were a lot of people who missed it. I'm kind of in the middle. I just don't... I like being able to do this. I just don't really have a way to make it look all that great. Another freight train rolling through. So yeah, everything's looking pretty cute so far. A nice little bitty town. Oh! Probably shut my yap for a little bit and, well, maybe I should just focus on playing the game. Might want to plug these together. Just going to go ahead and cover the shortest distance possible there. Now we got sewage draining away, we got water, we got power. Got a decent supply of, or decent zoning of commercial going on here. So still pretty high. Well, let's crank the speed and see how far this gets. I don't want to overbuild. Let's watch what demand does for a bit. I would really like to download the first-person mod, and probably between this episode and the next I'm going to. Somebody came out with a mod that allows you to walk around your city streets. I haven't actually seen any demos of it, so I don't know if it's just like releases the vertical constraint on your camera, or if it adds like WASD FPS controls. It'd be kind of interesting to see how that works out. And in reality, things got pretty heavily industrialized along the river for a bit, so probably going to go ahead and emulate that a little. At some point, I'm going to switch this over to logging, because logging doesn't produce much in the way of pollution, as far as I'm aware. Got our industry bopping along. Looks like they could use a little more. One of the problems with when I try to do fully freeform cities is that I kind of come up with the opposite of what I do with grid cities, in that everything just kind of appears too empty. I don't like things being so dense that it's ridiculous, but at the same time, being an old school city builder, I guess there's just a I've been trained over the decades to look at empty space and shudder. What? Water? Did I miss somebody? No? Aha. So you make a comment about showering, and I instantly think it's a residential area, not industry. Haven't taken many showers at workplaces in my lifetime. Okay. Getting close to the 500 population limit, and we're bottoming out on our industrial demand, so it would be time to expand our residential areas. And this is what I was talking about with trying to make grids a little more interesting. Going to add some roadways like this. further. And I'm going to build out this way, or actually turn off snap so we can get that as aligned as possible. There we go. Fill. Oh no! Don't want to put industrial right next to the living areas. Well, hopefully that'll be enough to bring us out of our deficit here. Forgot how financially inefficient coal actually is. Negative 386 a week. Starting to make some improvement. Hopefully that'll go positive. Otherwise, I may have killed this playthrough before it really gets started. I have the ability to take out a loan, and the way the money flows in this game, it's not as crippling as it used to be in SimCity 4. Every time you'd have to pass a bond issue. Always made you cringe. Oh yeah, we're going to bring it back up into the green. And hopefully we're going to hit the next population mark before I end this episode. I'll try to come back out of debt a little bit here. Hey! Have grown to a little hamlet. Means going to have to start building some new services, but before I do that, I should probably expand our population a bit so we get some more cash inflow. And keep this going just a little bit longer. I'm going to try to aim to reach a population milestone with each episode. Fill in some more residential. Make sure everybody can drink and shower and all that fun stuff, because smelly, thirsty people are not good neighbors. Because the weird way the road works, I actually prefer to marquee this stuff out, because in order to expand a road line this way without blowing up anything existing, you got to have that one space left open. Alright, so that's pretty well done. I'm going to crank that. Just going to deploy some more industrial here. Make sure water coverage is still a thing. And probably going to pull the main street just a little bit further out. Once I get some wider... Oh, I've got a 4-lane road. Awesome. Is it possible to upgrade? Nope. Going to have to pretty much completely blow this out, looks like. So, going to pause. Gonna make our main street 4-lane just to kind of get ahead of the curve. Oh, dang it. I didn't want that. What are we? Oh, geez. Upgrade. Okay, fine. I will figure out how to play this eventually. Go back in here. Oh, come on. I know what I need to do. Do a little freeform there. And now I'm going to tie in my older road connections. Give me a little expandability for the future while also kind of making things look a little larger. Oh, I broke power. There we go. Much better. And yeah, that's where we're gonna leave it for this episode, and going to pick back up, probably expanding services and hopefully hitting the next population milestone by the end of the next video. Thank you for watching, and stay